What's going on, you guys? If you're new to the channel, welcome. I want to make this video on don't be too hard on yourself, man. Really, don't be too hard on yourself. I know this life is insane. I know that as a man, sometimes it can seem like you're not gaining ground, right? You look back in life, you look at all the time wasted, you look at all the things you wish you would have done differently, and you get stuck, right? You get stuck in this negative loop. You get stuck in this, I should have done this, I could have done this, why didn't I do this, right? But guys, that's one of the things that as a man you have to understand is it's always going to be an uphill battle, right? There's going to be times along the way where you can maybe slow down a little bit, maybe rest, maybe take a break. Those things are important. Some days you're going to backslide, right? Some days you're going to go a few steps back. Some days you're going to feel like you're barely gaining an inch of ground. But guys, over the long haul, over the years, that's going to add up. And I think as men, we can get stuck in this, I got to get it all tomorrow. I got to make it happen now. We get stuck in the hustle mindset, right? We see these people online. There's plenty of people that you could name, right? And sometimes we focus on the huge achievements they've made, right? We focus on who they are now. We focus on the, whoa, they got the big channel, they got the big following, they got all the money, they got the family, they got everything, right? They got everything that most guys want. And guys, we can get stuck in that mentality of if we can't make it happen right now, then we're screwed, right? There's something wrong with us, that there's something that's off. Guys, I'm here to tell you that as a man, it's very difficult some days, right? I can look back in my life and I can see all the different ways that I screwed up, all the different ways that if I could go back in time and change things, I would. But see, guys, we don't get that benefit, right? We don't get the ability to go back and change anything, all right? As much as time travel would be great, we don't. And so what we can do as men is look at our failures. We can look at the things that we've overcome and we can apply those going forward. So don't be too hard on yourself, man. Realize that it's all part of the process. Some people start from better starting positions than you, right? Some people are more equipped. But guys, at the end of the day, most people are going to have a level of success. They're going to have something that they can use, right? A lot of people think that if they don't have everything, that they're wasting their time. That if they don't naturally just have everything right off the bat, then it's a waste. Guys, I'm here to tell you that a lot of things that you want, a lot of things that you want to achieve can be achieved with time and effort, all right? You can't sit around thinking about it. You can't sit around just, man, that'd be really great. I hope that happens one day. You also can't just work hard, right? You can't just bang your head against the wall. You can't always just grind and grind and grind and grind. You have to have a purpose, right? There has to be some end goal. There has to be little milestones along the way. You have to celebrate the little successes, okay? You have to enjoy the journey, right? Without sounding too much like a Tumblr post, okay? You got to enjoy every step of the way. You got to take hold of every lesson that you learned. Because I get it, guys. I know it's daunting. I know you can look back and go, man, why did I mess up? Why did I lose that girl? Why did that girl not talk to me anymore? Why did I screw up this life venture? Why did I not go after this career I wanted to? Why do I feel like I'm years behind? Guys, I want to pause right there. I want to say something that in a lot of ways, that's actually a superpower that you have, okay? The fact that you're concerned about these things, the fact that you're trying to figure out a better way, that's a good thing. Most guys end up being complacent. Most guys end up saying, whatever, I'm done. It's not worth it. I'm going to throw in the towel. Everybody's out to get me. The world is going to drag me down no matter what I do. Guys, you have to have a little bit of fight. Every single day, you have to have a little bit of fight, even if it doesn't seem like you're making huge steps forward, that you're making a ton of progress, right? It's the little things you do, it's the consistent things you do that build up over time. That's why in a lot of my videos, I talk about the dangers of social media, right? We tend to demonize social media. Guys, social media is a great tool. The issue is people have taken advantage of it and they've exploited it to get views, to make you hooked, to make you feel a certain way. Have you guys ever noticed if you're scrolling through shorts or reels or whatever, TikTok, whatever, when you're scrolling through videos, have you ever noticed how one video can make you feel super happy, gives you a lot of joy, right? And then the next video can make you feel really sad. And the next video makes you feel angry. The next video, right? They're all slanted to do certain things, right? Humans, we are wired towards emotions, right? We have, as much as we think, some of us might have more emotion, some less emotion, just depends maybe on the point of your life, right? We all have these different things that affect us. We can all let different things affect us in different ways, but it's up to us as men to go, hey, this is what I'm going to do despite those feelings. This is what I'm going to do despite the negative, despite even the highs, guys. I think sometimes as men, we can get addicted to the highs of life, right? Once we get a little bit of success, we tend to lose our minds. We tend to latch onto those things as the purpose, as the epitome, right? As the everything of our lives. Whether that's we start getting a little bit of success with women, right? We start getting a little bit of success in our career, with money, with fame, whatever it is. We start getting a little bit of success and then we tend to ease off the gas. We tend to let up, or we tend to go full throttle into the first good thing that comes our way. In fact, I would say a majority of the time, that's really the biggest reason. That's really the biggest downfall of men. It isn't that most men are never going to reach some sort of potential. I believe most men, a super majority of men, are going to reach some sort of potential in their life. They're going to find some level of success, but it's up to you to decide if that's actually where you want to stop, where you want to end up. And what a lot of men do is they get that success, they get the girl, they stop, they settle down, then they tend to regress, right? They tend to fall back into the old comfortable ways. Then maybe something goes wrong, maybe it takes years, but maybe something goes wrong and they look back and go, why? Why did I do that? But guys, don't be too hard on yourselves because it's a learning experience. And I hope this video kind of opens your eyes and helps you see most things can be avoided if you just stay on your path, if you stay on your purpose, if you stay on what you're supposed to be doing. Everybody knows essentially what they're supposed to be doing, right? Everybody knows that they should be working out in some sort of capacity, right? A majority of the week, you need to be getting in some sort of physical activity. We know that we need to find our niche as men, right? We need to decide what that's going to be. And that might change over time, but we need to actually apply ourselves. So whether that's making a YouTube channel, whether that's making videos online, whether that's starting a side business, whether that's doing some marketing, selling a digital product, getting really good at, e-commerce, drop shipping, right? All these things. A lot of people say a lot of negative things about certain ventures, right? It's not about that. It's about how successful you can be at it. Everybody's gifted in different ways, right? Some people are really good at selling things. Some people are really persuasive. Some people are really good at turning a small idea into something big, right? Maybe they can start their own company. They can create a product, right? They can create a whole line of products and help mankind for the better, right? So don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be so distraught. Don't be so down in the dumps that you forget about who you are. Sometimes you got to shut off all the voices. Sometimes you just got to turn off the social media, turn off the music, go outside, go on a walk, and just think. just really think about what makes you happy, right? There's a movie out there, I'm sure a lot of y'all have at least heard of it. A lot of y'all have probably seen this, called Fight Club, right? I saw this movie years ago, but it's been something I've been thinking about recently. One of the things that the guy says in the movie, the main character, right? Well, there's two main characters, but the guy who's basically just living his life, doing what he wants to do, living in the dumps, right? He doesn't really care, but he's out there to start like a movement, right? And it's a really interesting movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But this guy basically, he goes against all of society's norms. He doesn't really care what people think, okay? One of the things he does is he smokes a lot of cigarettes. And I believe there's another guy who's basically being taught, or the guy who's living his life the way he wants to is showing this other guy, you don't have to live in a box, right? You can do your own thing. You can actually make an impact on the world by just doing your own thing. Most people are going to respect you more for that anyway. But one of the things that this guy does, that just does whatever he wants, is he smokes cigarettes. And I think the guy confronts him and he's like, why do you do that? You know it's bad for you. And he's like, basically tells him, hey man, look, everything in a sense, there's going to be a negative downside to everything you do in life. He's like, I just want to smoke cigarettes. I enjoy smoking cigarettes. And throughout the movie, he smokes cigarettes, right? He's a pretty healthy guy. He smokes cigarettes. Like, that's his thing. And I think as men, I'm not telling you to go out and smoke cigarettes, right? But I'm telling you that there's more to life than just playing it safe. There's more to life than just trying to fit in a box. There's more to life than just trying to do things the good way, the righteous way, right? There's nothing wrong with being righteous. There's nothing wrong with trying to do the right thing, but what is that really? What is that actually? What does that look like? Is it the overall good, or is it just what maybe society or your family or a couple of people that you, for some reason, take their thoughts on your life very seriously? See, a lot of people don't realize, but they're living their lives based off of someone else's standards. People are vicariously living through people, whether that's your boss, your family, your even mentors, right? Whatever you want to call it. People are not living their own lives every day. They're not doing what they want to do. And see, one of the craziest things about life is, there's all these different variables, right? Going back to like the cigarettes as an example. People say, oh, cigarettes are going to be awful for you and they're going to kill you and all this stuff. And yet of countless people who can smoke cigarettes up until their 80s, 90s, even longer than that, never have any health problems. But they enjoy smoking cigarettes, right? You see, there's really two types of people. There's people who do things out of stress and fear. There's people who do things because they feel like they have to. They're hunting a rush. They're hunting a good feeling. They're hunting a relief, right? And honestly, those are weak-minded people, and that's where a lot of men are these days. They're seeking a quick fix. They're seeking a quick hit. It's easier to watch porn than it is to go out and actually meet women and talk to women and face rejection, but also face the fact that if you talk to enough women, you're bound to find a girl that you're going to be able to probably settle down with or have a relationship with in some capacity. But you settle for the easy, quick fix. You settle for the thing that's not going to give you that fear, right? That fear of missing out, that fear of rejection, right? On the other side, you have men who just know what they want and they go and get it, right? They don't really care if it's necessarily the quote unquote right thing. Now, I do think there is a right way to do things, right? I truly believe that if you want to know the right way to do things, read the scriptures, right? Read the Bible. There's a lot of wisdom in there. There's also the fact that people who just live their life and do what they like to do oftentimes live a longer, healthier, more productive life anyway. Whether that's smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee all day, eating fried food every day, right? Guys, the list could go on. Sometimes as men, we get so caught up in like optimization that we think that if we're not running, or we think that if, we're not 100% of the time, that we're screwing up. that we're not doing things correctly. But guys, look around, really, really look at the people who are successful in doing what they want to do, okay? I'm not saying that some of these people, maybe they did things a shady way. Maybe they did some things that weren't 100% ethical, right? I'm not saying to glorify that. I'm saying look across the board. Also look at people in your everyday life. They're primarily doing what they want to do. They're primarily enjoying their life, right? I've known so many people, so many guys, right, who are happy in their life, smoking a cigar every night, right? Know so many guys happy taking a shot of their favorite whiskey every day. Way happier than people who are trying to do everything right by the book, who are trying to live life. They don't want to offend their family, they don't want to offend their wife, they don't want to offend anybody, they don't want to do this or that. Guys, isn't it funny though how when men can change the world, it's usually men who offend people, right? All these companies, all these products, all these things that people come up with, initially there's a ton of pushback. Initially there's a lot of resistance. There's a lot of defamation, right? There's a lot of people who doubt you. There's a lot of people who slander you. There's a lot of people who are going to think that you're crazy. There's a lot of people who think that you're nuts. Guys, until you succeed, that is, and then all of a sudden things change, right? Funny how that works. You can look at this in multiple instances of life, whether that's maybe you wanted to do a sport in school. People thought you were crazy, like you can't do that. And all of a sudden you start playing the sport and you were better at it than even you thought you were. And all of a sudden everybody's like, whoa, wait a minute. Wow, he's actually good at it. It's funny, people tend to gravitate towards people who enjoy their life, who are living their authentic life, because it brings out something in them that makes them want to live their life to the fullest, right? But when everybody's running around trying to fit into a box, doing what other people tell them to do, or just doing what they think they should do because a majority of society does one thing, guess what happens? Everybody's unhappy, everybody's anxious, everybody's looking over their shoulder, everybody's not sure who they are, everybody's always fearful, right? And that's the biggest thing you have to realize is what is keeping you fearful, right? And that's why I wanted to make this video for y'all. Like, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, recognize the fear, recognize what it is that is holding you back, recognize what it is that is keeping you from moving forward. Whether that is something that, I'll even end the video with this, guys. I want to leave you with this because I think it's such a huge point. It wraps up everything together, what we talked about so far. Let's say you have an issue with something, whether it's porn, whether it's video games, whether it's drinking a lot, right? I want to leave you with this. The issue, right, is not the porn, the video games, the drinking. Yes, those things are going to be detrimental to you, absolutely. But what is the deeper thing that you're trying to soothe, that you're trying to numb, that you're trying to escape? What is it, right? Maybe growing up, people never believed in you. Maybe family didn't believe in you. Maybe friends didn't believe in you. Maybe you were made fun of. Guys, I've been there, right? I was a short, stubby little kid, chubby little kid, right? Didn't know how to socialize, had a horrible stutter, was extremely anxious around everybody. Around 12 years old, I grew up, I was skinny fat. Skinny fat is, guys, if you've ever been skinny fat, it's terrible, right? You're like tall, you're lanky, but you're also fat. You got man boobs. You don't have any athletic build whatsoever. Out of shape, still had a stutter, still didn't know how to talk to people, still didn't know how to socialize correctly. But I put myself in situations throughout my life where I said, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to get better unless I do this. So you got to put yourself in situations where you're like, hey, I know I have this problem. I know I'm scared of this thing, but I'm going to face it today. Maybe you don't have to face everything in one day. Maybe you don't have to try to overcome it all at one time. But I promise you guys, if you actually attack the root of where that fear is coming from, you'll find out everybody has got fear. Everybody's got anxiety in some way. The toughest, biggest, strongest, smartest people on earth have insecurities. We're all human, all right? Once you understand that, once you realize that, and you stop letting people live through you, right? You start to realize certain people in your life are going to be beneficial and some aren't, right? You cut out the people who aren't going to be helpful in helping you grow, and you latch on to the people that want to move forward, who are trying to better their lives, not just for the sake of money, power, and status, but because they want to actually be authentic human beings, right? But once you realize that everything always comes back to the fear of something holding you back, it always comes back to fear. It always comes back to some deep-rooted something there that's not resolved, whether that's trauma, whether that's issues with whatever growing up, right? Most of the time, it will go back to that. And every day you make a conscious choice, right? Once you realize this, it's a choice. You can either give in to that fear, stay where you are, backslide, or you can look it in the face, you can attack it head on. And guys, as the days and the weeks go on, those effects of you facing it will compound. You will be able to move forward. And all of a sudden, weeks, months, years later, you'll look back and go, whoa, I grew a bunch. Don't worry about you're not where so-and-so is, or this person or that person is. Look back and look at your progress and go, whoa, that's what I did. That's how I actually did that. And you keep applying that. You keep moving forward, right? Again, it's an uphill battle. It's meant, it's tough. I get it. But one day you're going to look back and go, why did I worry about all that? Look at where it got me. Look at where pushing through the pain, pushing through the fear, pushing through the doubt, pushing through the naysayers. Look at where that got me, right? So take it one day at a time, guys. Don't be too hard on yourself. And if you have any experiences, you have any comments you want to add, I would love to see them below. Want to know how you guys are doing, but I'll see y'all at the next one.